Murder is a national epidemic. In the last 10 years, over 157,000 people were murdered in this country. To give you some perspective, in the Iraq and Afghan wars combined, 6,717 American men and women were killed. More than double than that were murdered in this country just last year. In America, we average 44 murders a day. When so many men, women, and children are killed in this country every single day, the news can't possibly report on them all. So then how did the murders of Michael Brown and Eric Garner get the attention of the national media? The answer is simple. Because it was a white police officer and a black suspect. That seems to be the only combination, the only murders that the media care about. Even though the percentage of killings involving a police officer, both black and white, and a black suspect is infinitesimal. There are no statistics specifically on white police officers and black suspects, but the percentage necessarily has to be even less than that. Without perspective, reason, or sense of responsibility, the media has fixated on the Brown and Garner cases, further dividing this country and despicably casting police officers as the bad guys in this false narrative. What is worse is the media does so while ignoring a bigger and more important problem, the massacre of young African Americans in their own neighborhoods. And since the media chooses to ignore those murders, that leaves only the men and women in blue to care, which makes the media's scrutiny of police action in those neighborhoods even more despicable and hypocritical. Ignoring thousands of bodies as disposable lives, the TV stations will only send cameras if a white police officer is the one responsible. Otherwise, we don't hear the names, we don't see the faces of the victims because the media could care less about the victims. They only care if the killer has a badge and the color of his skin, which is in itself racist, adding to the big stinking pile of media hypocrisy. The media loves to talk about Michael Brown and Eric Garner as innocent victims, and yet Michael Brown robbed a grocery store and assaulted a police officer, and Eric Garner was arrested 31 times. Now that doesn't mean they deserve to die, but it does mean they were on a collision course with the police. Now let me tell you about a true innocent victim. 15-month-old Sanaya Cunningham was jumping on her parents' bed in their bedroom in Irvington, New Jersey, when a bullet came through the wall and killed her. Eyewitnesses say 3 men on the street in hoodies opened fire. Nobody knows who they were gunning for, but they killed Sanaya. No one has been arrested in this case. This happened October 11th, while the media was enraptured with the grand jury deliberations in the Garner and Brown cases. Why do we know the names of Michael Brown and Eric Garner and not the name of Sanaya Cunningham? Isn't her life at least as important? It's not that important to the media because it wasn't a white cop who killed her. It's as tragic and simple as that. And the media should be ashamed. I'm Larry Menti. Oh, and by the way, if you have any information in the killing of Sanaya Cunningham, call this hotline number, 877-847-7423. There's a $25,000 reward for information.